The science building.
Or some paths, yeah.
Yeah.
Going through the science building. Between the installation and
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
Last and-
You wanted to share the screen.
My
Oh,
husband was
I could do
here at the criminal justice.
Control on the
So it's very different. It was like
Yeah,
English.
just in college a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, share screen.
It's like totally different.
Let's do the screen.
Oh,
The first one.
oh,
Yeah, share on screen. There you go.
Oh,
And then minimize the control,
That would be awesome.
the video.
oh, the,
Yeah, minimize this. And also,
I think this will just cover it.
yeah, and then we can just do this one. Either one is, yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
All right, cool. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the third annual business analytics competition. I'm excited and so should all of you. To start off, the business analytics competition here at Saunders has attracted over 150 or has attracted 150 students for this event. Welcome guys. We have 30 universities participating in 13 different countries and a wide range of majors. This year, the challenge is constructed by Dr. Taziali and Dr. Overgore, and it includes unstructured data. In the first round, there are 6 submissions on Kaggle and submission system. Big thanks to our first round judges, Dr. Victor Parati, Professor Bowie, Professor Kesgin, Professor Toyali, Professor Tong, Dr. Overgore, and Professor Weber. These are our teams for today. The Team Salmon, if you guys could give us a wave. Team What is Salmon? What's up, guys? Team Rich Girls. Hey guys. And Team Simon Miracle.
You already committed to Team Salmon.
No take backsies. And for our second round judges, if you could just give a wave as I call you out. Sean Hansen, Manlu Liu, Jeffrey Wilkinson, Cheryl Gorthy, Vic, are you a judge?
That's what I thought too. No, he's first rounder.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let the fun begin. Each team will have 25 minutes for presentations and 10 minutes for questions and answers. Is there a timer?
So the first team, if you go back to the slide before, go back. Yeah. So what is summon? You guys gonna be first. So you guys gonna go up, and your presentation. If you open up the folder, that's the presentation.
I have to read share from that presentation.
It's shared whole screen.
Oh, what is it? It's a fun name. Yeah, yeah.
I will give you guys a wave when there's 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Do you have a control panel for switching?
Is there a clicker or anything?
Yeah, just hit the arrow key.
Okay.
You see the slide over.
Congrats.
So most of the time, when you want to go Amazon or Nike to buy something for unfamiliar products, you may go to check reviews and comments before making decisions. So in area of e-commerce, the online review play a significant role in influence consumers' purchasing decision. However, the prevalence of fake review threatens the credibility and the authenticity of the true review. And the fake review will also undermine people's willingness to buy something and affect the sales and the price. Today, our team, what is stemming from the University of Rochester, will discuss the importance of the issue and introduce the method of using long short-term memory, which is called LSTM model, to solve this question and remove it. To address this issue, our process starts with natural language processing, which is also called NLP. And NLP is about enabling computer to read human language. And we adapt several techniques, such as converting text to lowercase, remove punctuation, special character and numbers, and transforming emoji to the text meaning. We then utilize the spaCy library to filter out the stop words and do lambdization. Once our data has been pre-processed, we explore the 3 potential fake review identification model, and those are LSTM, one-class SVM, and random forest. Ultimately, we choose the LSTM, and those are roughly the whole process for LSTM. Once we get clean the text data, we transform this data into the tensor format and input into the model and go to check the results and go back to do some tuning and go to check the results again. And why we choose LSTM? There are roughly 3 reasons for choosing this. First of all, sequential data processing capability. Fake review identification involve handling text data, which is inherently sequential data. LSTM can handle those type of data well, and the gating mechanism and memory cell can capture the relationship in the text, which is crucial for fake review identifying. And secondly, scalability. LSTM model can handle text with different lengths and scales. And with the continued development of the network platform, the amount of data generated by user will continue to increase. A fake review identification model with a good scalability can effectively handle those large amount of data while maintaining a high accuracy and a low computational cost. And last one, generalization. A model with a good generalization can recognize various types of data, such as hate speech, advertisement spend, or fake review. This means that even if the training data set does not contain a certain type of data, and a model with a strong generalization can still recognize those. And that's why we choose LSTM. And before we process to our next step of word embedding, we found the training data set have a class imbalance problem. The fake review only account for 5% of the total data, which means that we cannot use accuracy as just simply use accuracy as our performance matrix, because the accuracy will be deceptive in a situation. And why deceptive? So we got 95% of true reviews and 5% of fake review. If our model just goes wrong and output or 0, what accuracy will we get? 95%. And that's not a reliable result. And this is why we cannot use accuracy in this situation. And to addressing the class imbalance problem, we have 3 solutions: undersampling, reclass weight, and data augmentation. Finally, we choose the reclass weights, and we did not use any additional new data in our data selection part. And for reclass weights, by using this, we can reassign the weights to the model and making model more focused on the minority, to get a better performance. And that's how we solve this part of question. And for the word embedding stage, we just simply choose a text length of 100 and select the top 10,000 most frequent words. And this step will help us improve our computational efficiency. After we input the data into the LST model and go through some fine tunings, we use a binary cross entropy. It's just a mathematical term as a value loss and F1 score as performance matrix. To prevent overfitting, we adopt the dropout rate of 0.3 and also applied with L2 regularization. And that's also the best combination that we found. In the end, we did not achieve a very satisfactory results in the wrong one. And however, we insist that a fake review identification is a dynamic problem requiring continuous experimentation and improvement to adapt every changing data and the test requirements. So we believe that the RIT commerce can use our model as a suggestion to achieve a greater success in the future identifying. And that's all for our model part. And for the suggestion part, we have Zhixiang to help us explain this.
Thank you. Whether fake reviews are acceptable or not, to put it directly, our team believes that fake reviews are totally not acceptable. Our team will judge fake reviews from two aspects, from the morality and from the business. From the aspect of morality, there is an article on WSA opinion called "What Should We Do About AI Deepfakes?" Our society is now facing very serious problem of fake things like videos, photos, news, including reviews and so on. This article provides two very interesting perspectives on how deepfakes change people's behavior when making political choice. Although this article is not all about the fake reviews, it is still very helpful for us to understand how customers will be misled by fake reviews, since they share very similar principles behind. The first perspective is that from the article, people make their political choice based on their perception of politicians' preferences, and deepfakes will manipulate the perception of politicians' preferences. So this will definitely reduce people's ability to choose effective representatives if they have the wrong perception of those preferences. Similarly, the customers will be misled as well by the fake reviews, since customers make their own choice of what products they need to buy, what they don't need to buy, on their perception of the products, like the quality or the functions and so on. And I believe the reviews are a good reference for them. They read the reviews and consider they are the real experience and opinion from other real customers. So they will make their choice based on this. However, if there are fake reviews in our platform, the ability to choose the right thing for themselves will be reduced, so that they may take a loss, and maybe they will buy the thing they don't want, by the low quality products, and that's unacceptable. Also, we need to talk about who will be the most prone to be cheated by fake reviews. From this article, people in a political context, those swing voters are the most likely to be cheated. And this is very similar to customers. Those hesitant customers are the most likely to be cheated by fake reviews. You can imagine that there are real fans of a product and there are real haters of a product. And actually, they won't be easily affected by reviews, since they have their answers in their mind before buying. They know they need to buy this product, and or they don't need to buy this product. So even Yeah, and so the customers, those hesitant customers, they haven't decided whether to buy or not. So they need to read the reviews, and it is those hesitant customers that need the help of review that are the most likely to be affected, to be cheated by fake reviews. So on this sense, fake reviews are unacceptable morally. And to judge it from the business aspect, they will lead to a negative impact on our business. From a survey by Baza Voice of over 10,000 shoppers over the world, 97% of these customers will lose their trust in the brand if they are cheated by the fake reviews. 81% of them will never buy the brand again. 25% of them will even never use the website or the platform again, which will lead to relatively high potential revenue loss for IT commerce. And also 16% of those cheated customers will even post negatively on social media, complaining about their experience, how they are cheated by fake reviews on the platform, on the brand, so that it will further damage our reputation, causing further reduction in our potential revenue. So fake reviews are totally unacceptable to us. They will not only cause damage to lead to loss for our customers, but also lead to loss to our own business. Then we need to come up with ideas to deal with these fake reviews efficiently. However, before talking about this question, we need to know we need to decide which reviews should be classified as fake reviews. We need a label. And you may think that this sentence is of nonsense because we have provided our model before. Actually, our model can provide the probability of whether one review is fake or not. And here we set a threshold of 0.55, which means if one review has a probability of over 55% of being a fake review, it will be classified as fake review. Otherwise, it will be not. And this threshold can be adjusted by your own judgment. For example, if you really hate the fake reviews and you want to dispel most of them from your platform, you can set a lower threshold like 0.3, which means those reviews which has 30% probability to be a fake review, it will be classified as fake review. So it will have higher recall, which means you can your ability to find out among all those real fake reviews, you can find out, you can detect those fake reviews. And however, if you use this low threshold, the outcome is that you may also sacrifice some real reviews, and also they will be misclassified as a fake review. So similarly, you can, if you want to preserve more real reviews on your platform, you can set a higher threshold like 0.7. So very similar, it can preserve more real reviews. However, you need to let some real fake reviews escape. And in our model, we choose a 0.55 as our threshold because generally speaking, it reaches the best. To put it simple, it performs the best among all these thresholds since it has highest F1 score, which is a good metric for the to measure the accuracy of our predictive model. It reaches the best balance on both sides. However, this threshold is still subject to you, subject to your own preferences and your own tolerance of fake reviews. Then now we can start talking about how to address these fake reviews. Our team provides 3 methods: marking the review, remove the fake reviews, and we can also use some penalty mechanisms. Marking the review is the gentlest way in among our 3 methods. In this method, you actually the review is not removed. It is still in place, but have a small mark on it saying that this review may be a fake review and you should be careful about it. This method has many advantages. It can warn the customer that they have the risk of reading a fake review, and they will, if they know about it, they will be careful about it, and this can definitely reduce the chance when customer is cheated by a fake review. Also, using this method, we leave the judgment of a fake review back to our customers. Our model can still make some misclassifications, and some real reviews will be classified as the fake review. And our customers can have their own judgment whether to believe it or not. And also, this marking the review have some disadvantages. Since we volunteer to show that there are fake reviews on our platform, maybe the customer before seeing the mark, they didn't expect to see fake reviews on IT commerce. However, after seeing this, they know there are fake reviews on our platform, and this may damage our reputation. However, this is still a good method to adopt. And our second method is simply removal. Removing the fake reviews is a very simple, very direct, and very standard way. Many e-commerce platforms like Amazon uses this method to deal with fake reviews. And it is very easy to implement. If one review is classified as a fake, it will be removed, and that's easy. The disadvantage is still the misclassification. Some misclassified real reviews will also be deleted based on this method. Our third method is associated with penalty mechanisms, and it is represented by the account banning. This method is very useful if there are some bot accounts on your platform, and these bot accounts are created to post the fake reviews continuously. And if you can ban their accounts, they cannot be used to post these fake reviews anymore, and that will be very helpful. However, just banning the account, actually, I think it is a bit radical, since we still have these misclassified real reviews, and if one customer he or she posts real review about their truly experience of using the product and found out the review is marked as fake, and his or her account is banned, and she cannot use this account anymore. They cannot purchase anything. They cannot leave reviews anymore. It will be very frustrated, and it will reduce the user experience for our platform. And so we come up with another idea to improve it, which is shadow banning. Shadow banning is widely used on many social media platforms like Twitter and Reddit, and it is not the real ban. Actually, it preserves most of the functions for an account. It can still purchase the products. It can still leave their reviews for a product. However, the only different thing is that their account is not visible to other users, so that cannot be seen by other users, and the owner of the account won't know about it until someone tells them. This method can greatly reduce the feeling of frustration if their account is misclassified. And also, this method can deal with the bot accounts better, since bot accounts may create new accounts if they find out their old account is not accessible. So that's them to continue to post the fake reviews there, which are totally invisible to others, which are also very harmless. So with these three methods to deal with fake reviews, we can make our platform a cleaner place. And to sum up, LSTM model is a very promising approach to detect fake reviews. It can help improve the authenticity and credibility of the online review of our review system. Also through this, if there are less fake reviews on our platform, we can build customer trust, and it will also enhance our RIT commerce's reputation. And to put it in action, we can implement our predictive model whenever a new review is going to be posted. So the fake reviews will be detected as soon as possible, and we can reduce the potential loss for our customers and for ourselves to reduce it to the list. And thanks for listening.
Are we open to questions?
Yeah, so
I'm
the
gonna
draft.
refer to our guest judges, external judges. First,
I do have one question.
Yeah.
In your model, do you predict the fake review as the valuable one? Or is the positive review is the valuable one? Like what direction is your predicted score? Is it a higher score means they have higher likelihood to be fake? Or higher score means they're more likely to be positive?
The fake review is a class 1, and the true review is class 0. And the model will output the probability. And so we set a threshold such as 0.055, 0.55. And if the probability higher than 0.55, and they will be marked as fake review.
Jeff, did you have any?
Sure, thank you for going through that. Outside of the test set that was provided to you, if you could have access to one more piece of information, one more piece of data, what might it be and why?
Could you repeat it?
Sure, yes. So you were provided with a data set that had basic information, review text, price, for example.
Yep.
If you had the ability to say, I can improve my model, my analysis, if I had access to one more piece of information, what might it be and why? As I'll throw out as an example, if you had access to know when the reviewer created their account, would that be beneficial to your analysis?
I think that will be work. If we want one more resources to access, I think the price will be the key factor. One more key factor.
And just on that point, what would your expectation be with regard to the price? Would you? So if you thought the price would be helpful, why?
You can give an example.
I mean, just, you don't have to have a specific, it doesn't have to be an answer from the data, just your intuition. If you were to have price, what would you expect that price, what additional predictive value do you think price would give you?
Firstly, I think a fake review influence consumers' purchasing decision. And if the consumer did not go to your store to buy something or want something, and the sales of the store will decrease or fluctuate, and which will directly impact the profit, and the profit may link to the sales. Yeah, I think that.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I think very interesting presentation, and the fake review issue is really a serious issue, right now for this online platform. So your whole presentation talk about the model, LSTM model, as approach for detecting the fake review, right? So if I ask you to kind of summarize with several sentences, quickly summarize why LSTM model is the approach that you choose to detect this fake review. So can you give me several sentences to summarize that? Basically, just summarize what you have presented, but for example, it's like the elevator speech, like you have 1 minute that you want to talk about this to our audience who know nothing about the whole issue,
The models.
the models, that's
Yeah.
right, yes, thank you.
As I mentioned before, fake review identification involve handling text data. And the main reason why we choose LSTM model is that it can handle text data well with a good performance and a high accuracy. And yeah, that's why we choose it.
Great.
So along those same lines, the question I have that I didn't necessarily get from the presentation proper was, based on the LSTM analysis, what would you look for? Like, what are the elements that out of your analysis suggest fakeness? What aspects of a review came out of the analysis that suggested a given review was fake or authentic?
For that question, actually, if we get more time, I think we might use sentiment analyze to test the differences between the true review and the fake review. And actually, we did not do that in this computation.
So, but are there any of the elements of the data set that make you think, okay, that's a factor we really need to be looking at to differentiate fake from authentic reviews? Like, just based on what you did have of the elements of the data set, what do you think you're leaning toward in terms of critical factors?
The one factor in the training data set called the vote. Yeah, for the vote factor, I think I have to check the average value of the fake vote and the true vote, and I think there are obvious differences between.
So that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Good one. Excellent. Any other questions from the group? All right, thank you. Speak up.
I'm just curious, so in slide 60, you talk about the moral implication of fake reviews, right? This is like,
this one.
yeah. Have you guys found any evidence from the data that fake reviews actually have any implication on the financial performance of the platform?
You mean
Meaning, does fake reviews have any impact on the sales and the economic performance of the IT commerce platform? Because you certify that a fake review is bad from the moral perspective, yes, we get that.
Yeah.
However, from the business perspective, does this really impact the sales performance?
Actually, we don't have the data about whether they will have the real reduction in the sales, but according to the survey, we have shown that people's trust in our platform will be reduced, and they may not use our platform if they are cheated. So we believe that they will lead to revenue loss.
One more quick thing is it's good that you refer some of the reference like Wall Street Journal and the survey. So you probably want to put the detailed information there. For example, the paper is from Wall Street Journal in which year, in which volume.
Oh, okay. Actually, I put
Oh,
it in
here,
the
okay.
appendix.
Great. You did it.
So Professor Bowie is just checking to see if there is any questions coming from the online participants. Really quickly.
Anyone from?
Any other questions from inside?
Oh, yes. So it look like no more questions. I think we can move on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. That was great. Thank you. I know I've definitely been swayed by a fake reviewer too, definitely. All righty, next team, Rich Girls, right? All righty, let's pull up your presentation here. Oh, yep.
I want to make a small, but like 30 seconds to tell the chat.
Yeah,
It's
you're,
like,
you're okay to get
do you
started.
have like preference on which side we do the presentation? No?
No, the video can see both, so.
Right, great.
Josh, can you move the Zoom control? The Zoom control node on the
This one?
screen, move it down so it's out.
Uh,
Or you can go to more.
Yeah.
And then minimize it. Click on more.
More?
And high floating meeting control.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Good morning. It's such an honor to have all the judges and every audience here to watch our presentation today. And at the very beginning, let me introduce our team first. We are Rich Girls, and my name is Ila Tian. And here are my team members: Xinyi, Yihan, Wenlu, and Shuye. We are all now pursuing master's degrees in business analytics or marketing analytics at University of Rochester. And we worked for this project as a team to mainly detect and remove fake reviews for our clients, RIT Commerce, and help them build a healthier online shopping environment. Before diving into the details of our project, I want to first go through our today's agenda first. So the first part would be problem description, where I would bring back the background story of this project and also highlight our main goal that we want to achieve. The second part would be data preparation, where Xinyi will introduce, she will explain how we processed the raw data and construct well-structured data sets for further analyzing. And in the third part, Yihan and Wenlu will explain how we built the predictive model step by step in detail, including all the possible models we have trained and the final decision we made. And followed by the fourth part, it's future perspectives. Wenlu would also mention about the next steps we would going to take for future model training. And in the last part, Chuye will mainly focus on ethical reflection and she will provide the business insights for RIT commerce about why and how they should deal with the problem. And she will also generate a thorough conclusion for us. And after our presentation, we will be open for a Q&A session. Let's move forward to the first part, problem description. So RIT Commerce is a popular e-commerce platform, e-commerce website that provides a platform for vendors and consumers to trade freely. In e-commerce, customer reviews are essential for building trust and providing social proof for potential customers. However, the existence of fake reviews can damage the purchasing decisions and also the business decisions for both the customer side and also the vendor side. So here is one chart that we generated from our data. So on the x-axis, there lists every product, and on the y-axis, it means the occurrence of fake reviews among all the reviews that product has. So we can find that products with frequent fake reviews, like this part, they tend to have extreme rankings. Especially extreme high rankings, which is noted in the purple color. And here is the second chart where we can tell that fake reviews are very likely to be voted as helpful reviews. There is also every product on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, it means the helpful votes for each product. And compared to the let's compare the products with the most frequent fake reviews in the left chart to the products with the least fake reviews on the right chart. We can find that the products with more frequent fake reviews are more likely to generate helpful votes. It is a natural thing for the consumers to for them to believe the reviews with more helpful votes, and they may also be easily to get attracted to choose the products with higher rankings. And in addition, the platform may also promote these products even harder. As a result, we believe that fake reviews may have impact on both the customer side and also the vendor side that may influence their decision making. As a result, by optimizing the customer review system, we want to we want to build a better online shopping environment for the consumers and vendors. That's why we made a predictive model to help RIT Commerce to estimate whether a review is fake or not. And we also prepare some recommendations for our clients to address the problem in the future. And after the introduction and background information, let's welcome Xinyi to talk about the data preparation part.
Thank you. All right. After the background, we can start with our raw data. Let's see how do we do the data preparation. So Originally, we got 4 primary data sets, and we basically did 2 things to them. First, we combined the review data with the price data and merged them by the product ID and date. And then we find out the problem, the existence of NAs. So how do we deal with the NA? We fill the NA with the lastest price from the nearest data available. And then we got a resulted data frame. We also merged that with the rank data. By same logic, we fill in the NAs. So after all, we merged these 3 primary data set into one because this whole process has been done to the training and testing data. So now we can try to do some data preparation for the model construction. For data quantification, we basically did that for 3 columns. First, we split the date into year, month, and day. And then we also add a new variable called number of words, which represent the number of words in each review body cell. And then for each pair of review title and review body, we generate the positivity and negativity score as sentiment score, so that overall we increased the variables from 13 to 19. That can be used for the further analysis. On the other hand, we also did text analysis. Here I'm taking the sentence, I am having an amazing day, hashtag good mood, and it should be a smiling emoji. And take this as an example. So first, we convert all those letters into lowercase to avoid treating the same word differently due to the casing difference. Next, we remove the noise to focus on the relevant information only. So that this includes removing emojis, punctuation marks, and also special characters. Thirdly, we broken those sentences down into individual words and phrases. Fourthly, we also remove the stop words like am, and, is, those words which doesn't carry much information. Finally, we do lemmatization. This is a step, basically convert the words or phrases back into their basic or dictionary form, so that we can reduce the unique number of words, but at the same time, we can retaining the original meaning of the context. After all this data processing process, we now can move to the next step, starting on contributing our predictive models. I will ask Yihan to detailedly explain each step of our predictive models. Thank you.
Thank you, Xinyi. So for the predictive models we've constructed, we choose 2 models. And the first one is, I'm going to talk about the Earth model, and Lu is going to talk about the logistic regression model. And the Earth model is what we've included in our reports. And we keep generating a new model, which is the logistic regression model based on the feedback. So before we generating and testing this predictive model, we want to start from choosing the key features. And the key features is also the important independent variables that are highly related to fake reviews, and we want to include them into our model. Based on this correlation diagram drawn, we can see that fake assign, which is whether the product received fake reviews before, and also the product ID are positively correlated to the fake reviews. For say, like products that received fake reviews before are most likely to be marked as fake reviews in our data sets. And however, we also found that since we are using product ID as a continuous number and included into our linear regression model, when we're and included into our model, we found that it might, due to the coincidence that product ID with a higher ID that are more likely to predict the fake review. So that might not be as strong as a factor as the fake assay method can be used to predict the fake review. And after we decided which fake factors to be included into this ERS model, we train the model using cross-validation method and then select the best ERS model based on the MSE value. And those can be found in details in our final report. And here we comes to the prediction stage of using our model to actually predict the fake reviews. We first tested our model in the training data set, and then we want to decide the threshold that to go further about the threshold. It is default as 0.5, which means that if the model predict a value of higher than 0.5, this data set will be more likely to be marked as fake review. Well, if the model predict a value of probability lower than 0.5, it is more likely to be marked as true review. So with a default threshold value of 0.5, we end up with correctly identified 50 fake reviews with an accuracy of 0.95. However, we are not satisfied with this number of fake reviews because our goal is to predict as much as fake reviews as possible under the premise of accuracy. So we want to tune the threshold and to find the possibility of correctly identify a higher number of fake reviews. And this is also the reason why we take a look at the true negatives, which are the fake reviews that are correctly identified. So let's first take a look at the figure 1, which is the value of true negatives under different threshold values. We can see there's like there's a very sharp decrease between 0.0 and 0.1, and then the true negative values decrease slowly after that and become stable at 0.3. So we want to, so this helps us to eliminate the interval of identifying the threshold between 0 and 0.1. And then we created an index called TN decreasing rate to actually spot for this turning point. And now referring to figure 2, we can see that we finally identified our threshold at 0.04. And with this threshold, we are able to predict 8,907 fake reviews and with an accuracy of 0.87. And then we use this model and this threshold to keep testing on the test data. We apply this model to our test data and then refer to Kaggle with the accuracy. We finally decided the threshold for our test data is 0.18. And now I'd like to pass it on to Wenlu to talk about the logistic regression model.
Okay, thank you, Yihan. After receiving the feedback from the judges, we started to adjust our previous analysis from the report and made several modifications. The first modification we made was to handle imbalanced data set. The original train reviews data set is imbalanced because the proportion of fake reviews is significantly smaller than the proportion of non-fake reviews. Training a predictive model on an imbalanced data set will lead to biased results because the minority class will be ignored or poorly predicted, and our objective in detecting fake reviews cannot be properly realized. Therefore, we use oversampling to increase the number of fake reviews. Sample by is a specific method where we create new observations by randomly sampling existing observations from the minority class and adding small variations to them. After this process, we created a new train reviews dataset where fake reviews account for 30% of the total data. And we believe this new dataset is more balanced compared to the previous one. The second modification we made was about model selection. We previously used Earth's model. However, after careful reconsideration, we decided logistic regression model should be a more appropriate choice. Our prediction result, fake or non-fake, is a binary decision, and logistic regression model is specially designed for input to model relationships between input features and a binary variable. In contrast, Earth's model is a multivariate regression algorithm and is a better fit for more complex relationships. Besides, logistic regression model is simpler, more interpretable, and computationally efficient than Earth's model. Therefore, we decided to train our new data set by using the logistic regression model. Having our model confirmed, we conducted the previous data preparation steps on the new data set and selected 12 features for our prediction. We choose the date variables, year, month, and day because we believe there are certain patterns in the frequency of fake reviews. For example, during a promotional period, there may be a sudden surge in fake reviews. And we also included the positivity and negativity score from the text because we want to utilize the text information. To have a better understanding of how our model performed, we split the new train reviews data set into a training set and a validation set. We built our model on the training set, which comprised 86% of the total data, and used the validation set to test our model performance. Since our goal of this case is to detect fake reviews, the performance metrics we choose are precision, recall, and F1 score. Now let's have a look at the result. The F1 score of the training set is around 0.57, and the validation set also has similar results. This shows that our model is not overfitted and has consistent performance between training and validation set. Therefore, we further built our model by using the entire training reviews data set and apply this to the testing data and get the final prediction results. Despite all these modifications we have made, it is clear that our current analysis still has much room for improvement. Therefore, in the future, we plan to have the next steps to have a better analysis. On these following perspectives. First, we plan to conduct deeper analysis about the feature selection. The current features were selected by using the correlation matrix and the significance level of running the logistic regression in R. In the future, we want to try other techniques like feature importance and PCA to make sure that the most relevant independent variables were selected. Besides, although we have used oversampling technique, the dataset we get may still be imbalanced. Therefore, we plan to use other techniques like class weighting to assign higher weights to the minority class. And after all these attempts, if the logistic regression model still cannot generate a very good F1 score, we will consider other algorithms such as decision tree and random forests. Next, let's welcome Chu Ye to talk about our ethical reflections.
Thank you, Wenlu. So after detecting the fake review, what should we do? And our answer is removing it because fake review is unethical and is negatively impact the three stakeholders in the e-commerce marketplace. And the first one is the consumer. The fake review will mislead the purchase process of the consumer. From we can know that the review is an important tool for consumer to learn about the real product using experience. And from our analysis before, we found that fake review is associated with inflating high ranking and the high helpful votes. Also, fake review contains some statement which will incite consumer to purchase or boycott the product with some over positive or over negative language. And all those false information will influence our consumers, our buyer's journey shown here. And in the first stage, the consumer will be attracted by those products with inflating high ranking in their awareness stage. And then they will click into the product page and check the review and to consider whether to buy it. At this time, those fake reviews will push the whole process by providing consumers some false product information with over positive language. And then consumer finally mislead to purchase the product. After consumer purchase the product, they will find that the product is not as good as the review described it. And for the seller, the fake review will the behavior of buying fake review is an unethical behavior that will disturb the order of the market because it violates the business principle of honesty, transparency, and fair competition. And finally, the seller who receive good fake review will gain an unfair advantage over those sellers who are following the platform's rules and the guidelines. And those sellers will eventually suffer from the fake review by losing the consumer's trust. And then is the platform. The fake review will undermine the integrity of the platform. Both the consumer and the seller I mentioned before are the key customer for the platform. If the platform exists too much fake review, it will lose the trust from its consumer and the seller, and then they will switch to its competitor. And in the long term, the erosion of the trust in this online industry will hurt the whole e-commerce industry. So what should we do with this? So how should we remove the fake review? We propose this model tuning cycle. We suggest applying our current model to target the fake review and delete it, and then send a notification to the publisher. At the same time, we also want to set up a feedback system that reviewers can report the wrongly identified review, just like this. And this is the misdetect review also can be a key factor to update our data set and based on the reviewers' feedback. With our updated data set, we suggest to tuning the model based on it and retraining for a better model. So overall, based on the data set provided, we process the data with the data merge, variable quantification, and test analysis. And we apply two models, the Earth model and logistic regression on those data, and we choose the logistic model. And after that, we make an ethical reflection based on the consumer, seller, and the platform aspect. And we decided to removing the fake review by using our model tuning cycle. The first step is the fake review detection, and then it's the model tuning and the feedback system. And our aim is to generate a better e-commerce trade online shopping environment for all our consumers. And we welcome for all the questions. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much. That was a great overview. Same question as before. Looking at the data set provided, if you did have the ability to go after one more piece of information to help you with the accuracy, what would it be and why?
I have one. I think IP is a good choice, but I think that could be controversial because
The IP address?
yeah.
Okay.
Review.
The address, all right.
Okay.
So when we deal with this question, we actually think this from two aspects. So where did this fake review come from? It could be you're hiring some people, they upload fake review, and they could be generated by AI, like ChatGPT.
Sure.
There could be a option. So therefore, if it generated by one cluster or one hardware, it could be easy for find the IP address of it because it's sending from a single cluster. But it also depends on how advanced the technology they use. They may fake it, they may cover it, they may mask it.
Right.
So, but I think that's it worth try. And if they hire some people, you will receive at one time, within one time, a group of people within that IP address, various accounts, sending positive, like fake review to them. So I think it's an option that worth to try, but how do you use it? It could be like more carefully think about. Yeah.
Great answer.
Mhm.
So I just have a question.
Yeah.
In your presentation, you mentioned you observe when you build the Earth model that the higher product ID actually create a higher score to be generating fake review. So have you guys done any kind of analysis to see what does the higher product ID associate with another data element? So for example, is it because the product category is different? So higher product ID generally is more, say, late night snacks versus electronic, or is it just correlated with, say, price? So did you take another step to say what else is driving this observation that you see in the data relationship?
That's a very good question. And I want to refer back to the visualization with drawn in the beginning. So yeah. So for example, this visualization, we can see that the product ID here with higher ranking is like 446, 398. So it's like the product ID, what I'd like to explain in my presentation is like the product ID, it might just be a coincidence that the product with higher product ID, it might be having a higher number of fake reviews. But that's a very good insight, and we'd like to explore it.
Could you jump to the next slide?
Mhm.
Is it possible that that 399 is weighing, although that's not that high a number?
Mhm. Oh, those are the sorry for it was too small. So here we can see that here like 62, 60, 56, and 19. All those are the products with low product ID and also with low average fake reviews.
Right, I'm looking more at this high average fake reviews, that one product seems like it could skew the analysis significantly. That 399. My eyesight is not too good. I'm not sure.
This one?
So what we want to say in this diagram is that so those are all the products that already have a lot of fake reviews.
Right, right.
And so in those fake reviews, so like one product then may have multiple fake reviews, either like fake reviews or two reviews. And with this 399 product that has a lot of reviews, we can see the proportion of fake reviews is large compared to the reviews. And I think your question is like 399 might be a small product ID.
No, not that it's a small product ID, but that one product could skew the analysis with regard to the relationship between product ID and fakeness, right? Of prominence of fake reviews, just because that one product is totally different than all the others with regard to its proportion of fake reviews. And I don't know, I just wondered if you thought about it.
So yeah, that's a very good mention, and I also want to add to that is that we calculate the high average, like it's the average for reviews. So it's based on the formula for this is using the number of reviews received to divide it by the total number of reviews. So it's like,
Oh, so the number of fake reviews divided by total.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
that answers your question.
Yeah.
Very interesting presentation, ladies.
Thank you.
I like the agenda that you put in the first place. I think lay out a very clear structure. So help us to, when you present, you guide us through all the procedures. Good job. So I have two questions. One question is very general. So I think you have been working together for how many months already? Starting the beginning, when you say, okay, I'm applying for this.
1 month.
1 month
Yeah.
together, okay. So what is the most challenging part that you were facing when you work together for this project?
You mean like within people or the task itself?
Either
Both?
way, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
I think we get along. We don't have any conflicts
I
between
know,
like
no,
personality.
yeah.
Yeah, I think if we focus on the task perspective, it will be the model constructing. And also because we received the feedback when we gave the final reports and the final report to all the professors, and the feedback gave us something that's very how can I describe that? I'm finding the right word. Like we didn't expect have that detailed feedback, and so at that moment we were good job everyone. So we were struggling at should we construct a new model or we should stick to the one that we use in final report. So if you read our final report, we don't have this logistic model there. So at that moment we are really struggling, like, well, do we have like enough time to do that, or can we make it? We also need to prepare for the final presentation at the same time, and we also need to prepare the data, because as Lu mentioned that we did oversampling after receive the feedback. So that I think that would be the most challenging part. But every teammates, they were really supportive. So this came in front of you. Yeah, we made it finally.
Great. Think this, I think you made it.
Yeah.
Great. And I take this comment and the kudos to the community.
That's
here.
right, that's right.
So another question, a very detailed question. So you talk about the technique stop words removal. I think this is the common practice, right, for this technique. And I understand, if we talk about objective themes, this no problem. For example, just kind of, for example, if we talk about company financial situation report, you want to find the sustainability issue, and then you look at all these big data, I want you to stop word to remove that. Now for the review, when you use the stop word, do you think if during the process, if some of the real information will be compromised, not
Like particular
using
stuff.
stop word techniques? But this is just for discussion, okay?
Yeah, so the prioritized goal for using the stop words in this current model construction for us is to reduce the number of words, because to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, that's huge amount of data and our computer couldn't run that very fast. So we need first minimize the amount of stop words. And also after the first draft of our logistic model, we would like to investigate which kind of or which category of stop words could have particular impact in those contexts. And in that case, when we get to the step of the tuning the model, we could try different adding category or stop word lists to see how far could we bring to the updated models. Yeah, that's a plan we planning to do, but because the time limits and our prioritized goal is to have one logistic model before we can came to here. So that currently we are using this technique to minimize the amount of words inside the text.
I think I might have missed it in the presentation, but with regard to the logistic regression, which of the 12 factors emerged, or which 2 or 3 emerged as the most significant?
Oh yeah, so we actually choose this model by running a logistic regression model in R, and we look at the summary of the regression model, and we have this significance level of each variable. So we want to pick the most significant variables, and it turns out that these 12 variables are significant at 90% level. Yeah, so that's why we included them here. And
Which were the, I'm sorry, I missed, which were the variables though that had the highest significance?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I remember the exact like the significance level, yeah, but these are all significant at least 90% level, and most of them are significant at the 95% level.
I see all of them. Okay. Nice.
So as a follow-up to your question, now that you've done the analysis, if you were to try to defeat your system and you wanted to be able to trick the system so that you could actually put fake reviews and have them not be detected, what might you do? So if you were to defeat your own analysis, your own system, what would you do differently as a fake reviewer?
Me as a fake reviewer.
Correct.
If you were a fake
okay.
reviewer,
So if you were a fake reviewer, you knew that there was someone
Interesting.
applying this statistical analysis, this service to detect my fake reviews. What would you change to defeat this?
So the opposite of.
be less helpful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe avoid strong words. So it will be less sensitive to be detected by this model. I think that's one way. And more of it could be a lot of approaches. Maybe also try to change your tones when minimize the similarity between one review you post and the other one. You understand what I mean? Yeah.
And be more subtle.
Yeah, more variation. Yeah, that would be the correct words.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Since we're on this slide, actually one more question.
Yes.
But by the way, great job on the presentation. You tell a very good story.
Thank
Very
you. We appreciate it.
When you have a record with a positivity and negativity, can one record have both high in both variable?
Record.
So like your words, the words that coming in to help with your prediction, can they have high positivity and also high negative?
So we have checked the data, and actually, we didn't find that review or the review that has both high positivity and high negativity score. So there are many fake reviews that either has very high positivity score or it has very high negativity score, but we haven't found like any they have the both high positivity and negativity score. Thank you.
Nothing online? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, the leaderboard based on the IB score, right? F1 score, I see your presentation, you got a F1 score 0.5.
Yeah.
Why this? I remember you leaderboard, your score is 0.28. I don't know why have a huge difference.
I think the
Yeah.
score on the Kaggle is accuracy score. Yeah. And-
Is in that part.
It's F1 score, okay. Yeah, yeah, we actually also struggle on this problem because from our training set and the validation set, it shows that our model seems to have this consistent performance, but when we use this model on the testing data set, its performance is like way lower than the validation set. Yeah, and we also think about this problem. I think it might be because there are some differences between the training set and the testing set, so they are not like the exact same format of data, and that's why our model like doesn't have a very good performance.
Yeah, so one thing add to that, because this difference, we were having a bold hypothesis when we do that. We think might be very different between the testing data and training data, but also we think also could be a possibility we didn't capture some key features. So that's why we also mentioned like in our future perspective, we would like to try on next step to do some feature selections to make this model more complex than right now, so that we can capture more useful feature and maybe related to make it more suitable or feasible to the testing data. Yeah.
That's it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. I'm happy to hear that.
Alrighty, and last but not least, our final team, Simon Miracle. Take it away, guys.
I have a few seconds to test them.
Sure.
就是more，然后还有一个，然后接下来就是它的文，那这个呢？不是，那你如果上课项目吧，它就是按下一下，我试一下，我也是，要不你都试一下。Okay, we have prepared. Hi, everyone. We are from Team Simon Miracle from the U of R. It's a real honor to be here, so thanks for the opportunity. I'm Michelle, joined by Yitong, who will introduce our data preparation process, and Zhuwei, who will introduce our model building process, and Ting, who will introduce our business analysis, and Xinyu, who will introduce our implementation strategies. So to introduce our client, RT Commerce, I'd like to start with a scenario. Now, just imagine that you have received a package that comes from your online order, and inside it, there's a small note saying that if you give us a 5-star rating, we'd like to give you a $5 bonus. Would you be willing to give the product a 5-star, even if it doesn't deserve it? Or now let's switch roles. And suppose you are the customer. You are browsing online reviews and see if the product has good feedbacks. And do you have confidence in identifying such reviews from the real ones? That's exactly our client, RT Commerce, problem. And as a renowned e-commerce platform, it has been striving to detect and address fake news and assuring a trustworthy shopping experience for their customers. So fake reviews has been a pervasive problem in the e-commerce industry, accounting for approximately 4% of total reviews and impacting an astonishing amount of transactions worth over $150 billion. Our client has realized the severity of this issue and asked us to address this problem. So our project for RT Commerce has included 3 objectives. Firstly, we've been asked to develop a prediction model that can accurately detect the fake reviews on the platform. Secondly, our client is interested in understanding a broader impact of the fake reviews on their platform and like its impact on their sales, product ranking, and review helpfulness. And finally, our product is seeking our advice on how to effectively address fake review problems in real life, and to what extent fake reviews can be accepted. Now let's welcome Yitong to introduce our first step of model building, the data preparation process.
Thank you, Michelle. Now let's look at the data preparation part. And there are 2 data sets in our projects. Data set 1 as the train set is used to build the predict model, and it contains a huge number of reviews from 2000 to 2020. And the data set 2 as the test set is used to predict fake reviews. And the data set of the 2 have consistent features as there is only 1 column left in test sets. As for data cleaning, there are 551 rows with misaligned data, and we determined to exclude them because it may cause travel impact on the overall train set. And fortunately, there is no null value after exclusion. And then we transfer the format, the data variable into date format and the integer formats for all extra numeric variables. To make better prediction, we consider adding more features in our projects. Because we believe that the generation of fake review is highly correlated with a specific year, month, and day, so we divide the date variable into 3 independent variables in our project. To discover more application of the text variables, we do removal of gibberish and punctuation first, and then apply it with stop word removal and the stemming process. Up to now, our test variables have been qualified enough to do the sentient analysis to generate the polarity and subjectivity, which are 2 new features of our new in our project. And here is the innovative design of our projects. We create the product feature to multiply fake assign and product ID, and then we get dummy variables of those products whose product feature is non-zero. The meaning of fake assign is to identify any products that had fake reviews before. So fake assign is highly correlated with product ID. So in this way, replacing the 2 independent variables into a bunch of dummy variables will be expected to label the products with the risk of fake reviews. And here is the data frame, part of the data frame to explain it. Oh, I can just see here. And each row refers to 1 product ID, which will be labeled by all the dummy columns. For example, if the product ID in this row is 82, then this value should be equal to 1, and all the values in the columns behind should be 0, and like all the rows will be done in this way. So up till now, our data set has grown up to a data frame with 52 columns, and that is the overall data preparation now in our projects. And next, let's welcome Zhuwei to introduce the predict model part. Thank you.
Thanks, Yitong, for introducing crucial steps of data preparation. Now, let's dive into building models to make predictions and uncover insights. To tackle this specific task, 3 models were constructed, respectively SVC, RNN, and DNN. Each of these models have their own strengths for detecting fake reviews. For SVC, it is highly effective for common text classification problems. And RNN is really good at processing sequential data, especially the natural language test. And also, finally, for our DNN model, it is capable of modeling intricate relationships in large amounts of data. After comparing different predictive models, we found that DNN model has the best model performance. So here is our process of training and tuning the DNN model. In this process, we experiment with different numbers of layers and units, and we weighted the data set to address the class imbalance. And also, we modified the threshold for our model to detect the fake reviews. Our metrics for measuring the models was F1 score, which measures the trade-off between recall and precision. And by iterating the process of trial and error, we can finally find the best model with the highest F1 score. So our best DNN model has 6 layers, including 5 hidden layers and 1 output layer. Each layer is designed to process important information to the next layer and finally help us make predictions. For the 5 hidden layers, we utilize the ReLU activation function to accelerate the model's algorithm and improve model performance. For the output layer, we utilized the segment activation function, which is ideal for binary classification problems. And finally, our model outputs the probability that the review is fake. And so allowing us to detect the fake reviews and finally make decisions on how to deal with them. So since our model outputs the probability that the review is fake, we need to define a specific threshold to improve the model performance, to determine whether the review is fake or not. So after testing the model performance with different numbers of threshold, we found that the best threshold for our model is 0.65. This means the reviews will be marked as fake if its predicted probability of being fake is over 0.65. Another issue to address here is the unbalanced data set. In our training data sets, only 5.1% of the reviews were fake. The unbalanced problems will make our data biased towards learning non-fake reviews and find it hard to detect fake ones. So we use the technique called reweighting. Reweighting can improve our model performance by making the model learn more about the minority group. Before the reweighting, our F1 score of our model was around 0.13. But after reweighting, it increased to around 0.4. Although our model can now detect the fake review accurately, there are still some limitations. One limitation is that our model heavily relies on the data quality. For example, if the review test is incorrectly written or contains some error, the model may find it hard to make predictions on how to predict it fake or not. And the other limitation is that as the new types of fake reviews appear, our model performance may be impacted because of the changes in the review data over time. So to address these limitations, we have some ways to improve our model. The first way is that we can incorporate more additional features, such as metadata about the reviewer and product. For example, we can try to add age and gender about the reviewer or the price and category of the product into our model to see the model performance. Next, we should monitor and adjust the model's parameters to ensure its performance over time. And finally, we can explore more machine learning techniques, such as more other unsupervised learning or natural language tests to supplement the DNN model and improve its capabilities. That's all about the predictive model. Now let's dive into the business analytics and make impact and to talk more about the business impact of the fake review on our platform. Let's welcome to Tim.
Thank you, Zhiwei, for introducing our predictive model. So now I will introduce the business analysis. And after the design of our prediction model, we have conducted an in-depth analysis of the business goals of the RRT commerce, and we have developed this model. So after the analysis, we found out that there is a significant data imbalance, and there are some crucial features that are strongly related to the fake reviews. For example, there are review rating, number of photos, year, month, polarity, and also subjectivity. And after the analysis, our DNN model performed best among all the models. And we applied a lot of optimization strategies such as resampling or the embeddings, the rating, targeted feature engineering, and also parameter fine-tuning to improve our F1 score from 0.13 to 0.4. And these results demonstrate that our model has the effectiveness to fulfill RRT commerce business goals, which can enhance the authenticity of the review section and also improve the performance and the profitability of the whole platform. So now I will come to our recommendations and the reasoning behind our recommendations. Firstly, we analyzed the our e-commerce situation on fake reviews thoroughly. And we discovered that although the fake reviews can boost sales in a short period of time, such as a few days, but it will return to the original level after a period of time. So, in fact, if there are too many fake reviews, the customers' awareness will tell them that something is wrong. So in these cases, the sales would even decrease. And secondly, I will talk about the impact on ranking. So to make this recommendation, we also analyzed some key factors of a successful e-commerce platform. And we found out that the fake reviews can manipulate the rankings of products in a very unnatural way. We observed that the ranking of a product skyrocketed after fake reviews were added, and this trend continued for over a month. So if most sellers rely on these fake reviews, then ranking of products will be highly biased by those fake reviews, instead of reflecting the actual quality of the products on the platform. This is very unhealthy and will eventually add up the cost of those products and also hurt the loyalty of the customers, because it will hurt their affordability to those old products. And thirdly, we will talk about other impacts. Moreover, the products are often not very helpful for customers because they rely on truthful and honest reviews that can give them accurate information about the product's performance, features, and also quality. However, fake reviews often lack those qualities, and also they don't have many objective information, and they are very biased by other factors. So they are not very helpful for customers who depend on those reviews. And when customers realize the reviews are not helpful or even fake, they will turn to other products or even become questioning about the credibility of our platform. And this is all of our recommendations. In light of these findings, we found out that we have a lot of suggestions to make for our IT commerce. So our main recommendation in conclusion is that we need to eliminate all the fake reviews. And we need also to encourage the truthful and helpful reviews from customers. By doing this, we can improve the quality of the platform's review section, also ensure the satisfaction of our customers. Now, with all the business recommendations said, I will hand over my section to Xinyu, who will introduce our potential suggestions of our implementation method for our IT commerce.
Thank you, Tintin, for showing us the potential risk of fake review. Deal with fake review is not easy on our IT commerce. So deal with this issue, we come up with a plan to combining auto check, reporting system, and human checking. Firstly, we will use predictive model to look for fake review all the time. When our system found a fake review, we will remove it automatically. Because no model is perfect, so we also have real human to double check with it. And our IT commerce can let their buyer and seller report any fake review. When a review gets reported, we will adjust our model setting and recheck it. If our model still detects nothing, our evaluation team will check again if it's true or not. Doing this not only help to look for fake review, but also make our model stronger in the future to check fake review. Also, our IT commerce should punish the medium risk and high risk seller and buyer. They may face temporary ban or other limitations. And because as we know, this behavior is no good and it's really hurts the platform. To overall, our IT commerce want to deal with fake review and make the mark file unequal. By protecting both seller and buyer, our IT is building a stronger foundation and long-term success of popular online marketplace. Our team successfully created a model to detect fake review on our IT commerce, and this model get a very high FE1 score of 0.4. Also, we found out many business insight. Through this insight, we know dealing with fake review is super important to keeping buyer happy and making platform better. Therefore, we suggest a plan combining auto check, reporting system, and human checking. By doing what we suggest, buyer can choose product review on IT commerce. This case shows how wonderful it is use predictive model to fake real life problem and make online place better for everyone. Thank you. And get free answer any question.
Welcome, any questions?
Thank you.
So I want to say, I really like your scenario discussion slide. That gives us a good sense of what kind of problem we're looking at, how severe it is. So that's a really good job. Just one question on one of the slides talk about the high quality data versus low quality data.
Yeah.
What did you use to determine the data is good, like high versus low quality? And did you even consider that to be one of your independent variable as a data input?
First, from my understanding that the high quality data may refers that it may contain less error, like grammarly error, and some more correlation information about the fake reviews. Because when we're doing our predictive model, we found that a lot of variables is incorrect or with less correlations with the fake review. So that may result in, the incorrect prediction. So this is the first point. Yeah, and I think another is that the text variable can make much more improvement, like with less gibberish or some less non-English character, because when we're doing the text data preparations that we have to handle it because it has no meaning, or we find it difficult to transfer those characters into the valuable meaning for detecting the fake reviews. Yeah, so that is my understanding.
And good catch on that time element, because that's one thing a lot of times people don't detect that. Have you tried and look at the past history, meaning say as of today, for this product in the past, how many fake review they have, how many they get using the history to help you improve your future prediction?
Like what I said, we just create the dummy variables for the product ID, and also we can apply it on our data variables. For example, we all know that we will shop actively on December because the Black Friday, and that may be the opportunity that generate more fake reviews because many consumers buy their products on websites and they very care about the reviews on the website to determine whether to buy it. Yeah, and also for the
I have one thing to add. Yeah, this is a very important question. That is why we listed the limitations and suggestions for improvement, because our model learns from the historical data, and in this project we only have the history data related to the fake assign is the only feature that contains the historical information about the fake review. So I think if we want to improve the performance, we need to think about more relevant features and add it to our model. So that's why we have this ways of improvement to have better model for better prediction. Yeah. Any other questions?
So the normal question I ask, I think you answered in your presentation, and thank you for being proactive and thinking through what other information you wish you had or what you look at for the future. One question I do have, all of the presentations so far have been to settle in on one model. So you did the analysis, you compared different models, you settled in one. Do you find that there's value in actually applying 2 or more models depending on different conditions? Would you find that, look, this model we settled on, I think you said deep neural network is what you settled on, is really good for the vast majority of the cases, but maybe it misses out on certain things where another model might have catched it. Did you do any analysis? Did you try running models in parallel to see if there's value actually in bringing them together and giving weights?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we actually did that. In our group, there are 3 team members constructing the model. Itong and me and Xinyu. Xinyu is responsible for constructing RNN model, and I am responsible for constructing the DNN model. And SVC is constructed by Itong. And yeah, we just have different responsibilities and to say the model performance at the same time. That's why that's why I say in my presentation that after comparing 3 different models, we got the best model with the highest A+ score. Yeah, that's what we did in the whole around 1 month, almost during the 1 month. Yeah,
that's great. And one follow-up question. When you're talking about implementation, I think one of the recommendations was when it reaches a certain part, maybe you think about penalizing the vendor. My question is, what made you arrive at potentially thinking you're going to penalize the vendor? Is it always like from an ethical point of view, is it always the vendor that's paying people to create these fake reviews? Is it ethically right to say we're going to penalize the vendor?
Well, I have to say we cannot just strictly I will punish them directly if the fake review appears. Like we will try to warn these vendors that this fake review is unhealthy for our platform. So this is a reminder for you, like try to remove the fake review as soon as possible, or else we will implement some bans or limitations on you. For example, like you can't sell products for like in 1 week. Like yeah.
And I just want to add on that. So I think of a large e-commerce platform, every vendor should be mindful that they are both the benefactor and also the contributor for our communities. So they are responsible for maintaining their own review sections because they are selling their own products. And I think if you are a responsible vendor, you need to check those review sections regularly. And if you found out that there are some suspicious reviews about your products that you don't think is truthful, it is your responsibility to let your customers or the platform know, so that we can all maintain a very helpful and contributional community environment together. So yeah, that's also part of our consideration for that. And our punishment do have some levels. So we will not do something like if you reach this level, you will be immediately fined or you just be kicked out of our platform. So we did think about that in depth. Yeah.
Great answer. Thank you.
Very interesting. I like the way that you present, very clear, deliver the message. I also can feel strong team spirit, seeing that you guys wear the same color of the top.
Thank you.
So this is a general question. So if you have 1 more month to work together, assume that you guys enjoy work with each other, right?
Yeah.
So Is there anything that you can think of to further improve for this project?
One thing, as my main opportunity is to building predictive models. If I have one more month to do this project, I want to try more predictive models, advanced predictive models. Like use deep learning or other machine learning techniques to see if I can further improve the F1 score. And you guys do?
No, because I'm responsible for the data preparation, so I will do more test analysis if I have one more. I have more time. Like we only do sentence analysis, but I think it is not enough to represent the sentence fully. Yeah, maybe we can try some victorizations or some, the special word extraction. Like there is a lot of very good, very the words with strong emotion will always appear in the fake review. So maybe I try to extract more information and create more variables to represent the text variable for.
Yeah, this is our first time to learn the machine learning models.
Yeah.
So we choose a 3%, Yitong and Ziwei and me to build a model and to train it. But I choose RNN model. When I training one time, 10 hours. But they really get a high F1 score. But in the final, we gave up it because we in the wait a long time. It's too suffering for it. So, for example, we put the computer like training for 10 hours. We go to sleep and in the morning, why no power? We train again. So this is very bad experience. So
yeah, this is the process of doing the project at the same time we study all the time, including the deep neural network, RNN, and SVC is studied by our own to know the algorithms and to know the technologies behind it, so that we can just tune the parameter to make it perform best. So I think the 1 month is very powerful, yeah, for us to learn a lot of things. Yeah, that is fantastic.
Just as an aside, since each of you took a different model, was there a little competition when you were initially comparing results?
Yeah.
Fun. One question I had was, I think it's always interesting when you find the patterns that emerge in terms of the predictor, the variables that help feed the predictive model, to then see if you can theorize why that would be the case. And the one that was kind of curious to me was that year was one of the elements that was predictive. Any hypotheses as to why year would be a relevant factor?
yeah, we think the future year is very important because we do the business analysis. We know the higher year will have more figure review. So I think the reason is when the technology inform, so the figure review will more than more. So this is why we think that the future is very important.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As the year goes on, maybe there are more technologies that can perform more figure reviews. So considering that, we put the year into our model to see the performance, and it works well. It works well.
Yeah. When we add the future, our model get a huge improvement. I remember our F1 score is 0.32. When we add year, our model to get the F1 score 0.4.
Yeah.
So this very huge improvement.
Yeah, if I have more time, after the project, we can just dig into why year is important.
I think that's just always an interesting thing, is to say sometimes you get a result and think, it's hard to even guess why that would be the case. But as you start to speculate, you can stumble upon some interesting ideas. Other questions from the team, or is there any online? Yeah. Sorry.
So I have a question. In slide 24 and 27. You very nicely talk about the impact of fake reviews and point out that as negative impact later on sales and on the vendor. So there's two questions I have in my mind is that given that there's so negative impact, should we let the user work with their wallet and let the market do its work? And also another question is, would you consider to let the fake reviews be accepted for new vendors? Those who want to start their store and don't have ways to really attract new customers. So maybe fake reviews is the way for them to really boost up their store. So what is your thought on those?
So we did notice that there's a mutual effect between the vendors and their customers on this issue. So sometimes, especially in reality, this question is a lot more complicated than this model. So in fact, on huge e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and eBay, there are some cases that the vendors pay somebody to write the positive fake reviews. And there are also some other vendors who pay some money for people who write negative reviews for their competitors. And on the other hand, for the customers, even between the customers, they have different standards of identifying those fake reviews. And that's just a huge, I would say like individual differences. So it is a very complicated topic, and to slim our analysis process, it just kind of simplified many aspects of this question. But we do believe that in reality, if you really want to solve this problem, we need to take it very seriously about the mutual effect between the vendors and customers, like how they interact on this issue. And I think if we have a larger model, or we have more research materials that we can dig into, we'll definitely perform better on this issue than what we have now for this issue in the conclusion part. And also for the second question, I think, could you repeat it again?
So my second question is, what do you think about letting new store, new vendors actually use fake reviews as a way to bootstrap their presence on their customer base?
Yeah, for sure. So I think I also mentioned a little bit in my part. So there are some cases that the fake reviews did boost the sales or did provide some kind of benefits to the vendors. But if we view that problem in a long run, like in the futuristic sense, we look in a very long period of time. For example, 1 year or half a year, instead of just a few days or even 1 month, then it will hurt. Overall, it will hurt the profitability and also the performance of the platform and also the store. Because if you rely more and more on those fake reviews, you will be more attached to that. And it will eventually become a separable part of your performance and of your revenue. And so basically you're lying to yourself. That's not very healthy.
Who has a question on that?
You want to just read it for us?
Yes. Can I have a quick question?
Absolutely.
What's the definition for the fake review here?
We probably should have asked that question at the very beginning, right?
Yes, because sometimes we confused about the definition for the fake review, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we did notice that in the instruction part of this compilation, the definition for fake review is that some vendors pay somebody to write positive fake reviews, like they're generated by a real person. That's the first premise, and the second premise is that they are all positive. And because we also consider this question at the beginning phase of this computation, we were kind of very confused about this. And after this, reading this instruction, we were just simplifying our models from many aspects, like for the data part and also the business part, because that would be much easier for us to dive into this question and to give some constructive conclusions and recommendations about this. So, but in reality, we all know if any of us has shopping on those large platforms, this question is just very complicated. And as what we know so far, like even for unicorn companies like Amazon, they're kind of very struggling on this aspect, because that's just not very easy to solve. And the definition of fake reviews, especially in this era that AI intelligence is just developing so quickly, there would be also a lot of fake reviews that are generated by machines, and they're just very much like real person wrote them. So if we ever get into the workforce in the future, if we ever get a chance to be an analyst for a huge company or proper business, we'll definitely learn more on this, and we'll definitely come up with different solutions on this question.
So as the smell of pizza fills the room, judges should step away and do our piece, and then we'll come back out. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
Yeah, so Sean got to leave, everyone to separate rooms. Discuss. I asked like the starting.
Of the judges, like sitting together, yes, I'll probably do one of all the. Oh. Well, karate isn't it? I'll get my story.
Yeah. All right, so I will plan.
Also, the things that are represented from her hospital, but I didn't get actually. Yeah, I know her name.
Bring the slide, the band line.
Oh, it crashed earlier. I know. Before they came on, the PowerPoint crashed, so I had to close it.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for being here. I've got to go meet with one of our classmates and I'll be back.
Yeah, to put up something like that, we wanted to get a group of.
Yes.
With our students. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
All right, I'm just gonna get a picture with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
What else you guys need to do in terms of the Instagram?
It's not a second right now, actually. Talking about this. You missed them.
A little bit. Yeah. All right. I would just like to stand there and I'll get it in the back. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Already.
One, two, three.
Awesome. Your team, you guys are next. Just the bathroom? That's close.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. What is treatment is next?
Guys, don't be shy, help yourself with the pizza.
Absolutely. After the photo op. Oh,
Bullshit, the nails go there.
you'll be in the background. of the picture. 30 seconds. Unless you want to stand like this.
Yeah, we can.
That's not near the. Come on over, guys. Yes. Yeah, just not over like, yeah. So,
I think it's better over here.
yeah.
And-
Background.
One, 3.
So now we're gonna put her camera. Oh, it's great.
Sorry, come
Oh.
through, come through.
One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Good girl. Can you grab your other two? And then everybody can eat. Everybody want to come grab food then and we'll wait for them to come back? Thank you for taking the photo.
No problem.
Would they reach me in the back?
On my camera, probably not.
Yeah, up a little bit so that you're, and it's not in your face. There we go.
Yeah, they kind of are.
They are.
We're good now. 1, 2, 3.
Thank
I want to take one more.
Yeah, please, yes, for her official.
1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
就他说要采访一下我，就是说什么感觉12点半之前。
要是哪个强的话，我就是给我学校就是照 Instagram 做一个第二影响就是回来。我可以跟你说，对你可以，要是你想叫我跟你我们高层我们出来我就在外面等你啊。哎，其实我们第一个上次发现就是故意上一个状态。
哇，这个人啊，我都知道他是啥人了，你们敢说他？我想说我忘了，那沙冰。
I have the host, Josh. He was supposed to be on something else. We are in the answer
Not exactly, not real.
我还是跟自己打了，换一个球场，快快点。
But we have people are going to continue to watch the boards now.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I wanted to sign.
Yeah, yeah. What is that? Oh, you are the center of expansion learning.
Yeah. Experiential learning is getting the students out of the classroom to apply their skills in real life situations. So case count, I mean, is case repetition.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's extracurricular.
我吃完这个得你吃不到那。
It's like a real project. It's figure things out.
Oh, that's university level. This is college.
昨天找白色的。
Oh, we're with Simon. I'm a Simon alum.
我觉得我看到他那个用
So our experience is actually. So my boss. He works with our. Projects for them. And then our team member does margins.
Yeah.
So we do classes, the dump business and commerce. But we have it taught like from that country. And then during the break, we students from the science program. So if they don't have like a whole or anything like that, they can.
Oh yeah, when you guys had Yeah, introduce yourself, introduce me, and introduce people.
I already did it.
Hey, I want a project. With the key stuff. Them and like host them.
Something great.
So this.
We have 5 teams. It so happens that 3 to 5
There's so many acronyms.
Yeah.
That's a good idea because I know supply chain club kind of moves toward that direction. Kind of like really far. You can get something going. Pretty good. We're doing things. We're doing our scavenger hunt.
Yeah, we ran a.
Yes,
next week.
Ever election.
Yeah,
we got.
I ran one. And we reached out maybe these my contact. I think they reached out several contacts that are invited.
I got one more.
No, we got that.
Guys,
It's only food-based competition, and so it's a business that is in the Western Mayor.
That's actually a big
And
together by.
we invite Syracuse University. And then they get the live piece at 8 AM on a Saturday. And then they have 8 to solve it and then present to the judges. You don't tell them. What the case is. It's like, yes.
So who would you?
I think so. I can't, I don't recall the name, but I had some, they contacted me.
So, like they use no practice say.
Oh, yeah.
Let me.
Yeah.
I also want to hear about the centers. We are.
I feel like when I graduated, I keep going. Your feelings like.
Well, and even just. Worry about something they've done.
So that's it.
That's an
for-
unstructured data set, you know?
That was the initial. He's like a center.
Okay, it's not a university. We're experiential learning for finding. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna allow that. Simon. Okay, it's fine. Have them back and show you. And Sean. Like. Design of text. Project.
I'm gonna show you.
Thank you, Neo, for telling us who the judges were, because that's how many get it, I'm like. Okay, you know, like this, right, building. The executive director, and my boss also assigned all. He does the project. But that is true. The things that want to do the real life project, they will work. Oh, okay. And then they do. And then would that course count towards their curriculum? I mean, what you're setting for students. Well, it's not a capsule. Of course, it's a industry based, yes, so it's not like required, but it's required that they do. And I think probably about 25% of it. We have a fall in the spring. And then the projects that are 6 times, so you can get it in the project and then might. Okay, so it's not.
All right, guys.
An art.
Doing well, really good.
Right. Right.
Find you in web system. Take in ERP with really cool.
Right, and I hope good. It's pushing that out.
I mean, but,
And then the third, the third are.
in-person.
So there, that is. The university, so like we're in another one.
That should be fun.
No, how many people do you have in your group? You said you have an executive director and there's you and then. Okay.
It's hard, but it's good to know.
It is.
I think it's incredibly valuable.
We just hired a new person.
You realize what we're trying to develop. is-
And he's assistant director
Yeah,
of this.
I'll go ahead.
We just kind of started.
That's the plan.
Having a staff person.
Good at that. Just like our content.
I love that, and Neil had a card. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice to meet
Did you see that thing I posted where
you. For 30 individuals.
guy has
We
like
got
a
some teams.
pixel file of like, you know, like a classification?
Just sending out.
And then he builds an interface to that in the web. Where you can just
Okay.
make a request to a website somewhere, and it'll spit back prediction based on that model. It's a video.
Right.
Usually it's shared in the Discord.
Yes.
The great thing about it is, I keep talking about this. The guy writes the code in 15 minutes with no documentation.
That's great.
And it's a challenge to
But
himself.
yeah, no,
And he,
it's sometimes.
you can watch his logic. So he says, okay, the first thing I need to do is set up this interface. Now I need to get the pixel model or whatever, it's already encoded. And I need to pass the data into the model. I mean, his logic is amazing. I've never seen him say.
Congratulations.
But this is by.
And did they go or?
Space or a chemical. It's tricky, and then he has to go away. I think a lot of different things. I should almost ask you to help.
You know.
So like, but my family runs business themselves, Dahlia Converts.
When you used to do internships or co-ops.
And you're gonna experience website. Dahlia had-
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Our experience.
And it was like laid out
It's
by
not
alphabet.
very-
So like.
It
we took
is
into
very
three
relevant,
separate,
but
like,
it's not very-
all the most popular.
So anybody.
So I was trying to. name.
So that would be, that's the primary experience
But I got it.
would be
I
case
almost got the-
competitions or like
You're
the
welcome.
industry.
I mean, people do. I mean, I have to cross like that all the time. But you ended up with selenium, I assume. You get across the different pages. Yeah.
We partner with the professor at an international school of teaching for that, or I have one there, and then on a very what are they, what's covered in the course? Depends on the course. So we have a recruitment program that's corporate finance based. I have everybody going on.
Gold standard of this, but it doesn't like, it needs how to deal with what it's laid out. We pick it up, it's, hey, we can't do that. They were all separate.
Yeah.
We're lucky to talk from this foundation, hey, it's gonna be for 50 days, like, that's a pretty common.
Oh, you're part of the.
Guys, let's all when you have a meeting. Let's survey that. You get some feedback on how you do the competition. So, take a few minutes, let on to this.
Yeah, and I definitely want to connect you with people. Yeah, that was great. Okay.
Good, I did.
You already did all the,
So the judge is tally up their vote and evaluation. When they finish the count, they give me the name, but then I would then write the name on the certification.
Good.
Then the judge will show the first, and then
Yeah, no. I-
do a few remark about each team,
I think it would be
and then you.
very formal leader of each.
Song, Spencer, Manu Liu, and then two more from the industry. Jack, who is the CIO of
Delaware.
Undergraduate Minor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Terry, yeah.
Great. Is he here or
Yeah,
he's on
he's here.
Zoom?
He's here.
He's deliberating.
And the last person is Cheryl, who is a senior director of business analytics company, director business analytics at the other two.
Oh, what?
Butler Hill.
Oh, Butler.
She's an analytics person.
Who's that?
Cheryl, who you remember last week.
Yeah, I don't know. So director of business analytics department.
Okay.
That's
Have you
it.
met her before?
No. We developed some relationships at Bucket Hill over the years, but not with her in particular.
I'm hoping after this, we can.
And would
solve
she
them.
report to, what's our friend's name?
One of our alums,
Yeah.
one of the MBAs, yeah. Not,
Probably.
no.
Can't think of the name.
I think we can hire him.
So they're off,
The judges are deliberating about what they just saw.
Deliberating.
Yeah. That's- I suspect I know how it's gonna go. We'll
Yeah,
see.
did you like all the presentations?
Yeah.
Is it Chris? Not Chris DeMarco, Chris. Dan. I'm back to Boston.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I lost the thread.
I jump back and forth.
Yeah, it could be Crystal Marco. Something possible.
No, it's not quite right.
So I mean, we've had some conversations with them and with Paris over the years. Wegmans has gone kind of silent. Mark Roush is
You mean in terms of judging or supporting?
communicating.
At least we want to get the data. That's why you can engage the industry. Okay. So we hope that once they see the value of the competition, put in some.
That makes it very.
So Karen and I just met with
Took it to a different place.
the two most critical people last year from Delaware North that founded the Banner Council. And they are, I think, very interested in potentially sponsoring next year's one. We had a whole roadshow of us that went to Delaware North and Buffalo and pitched it, and it was very lukewarm across the group, but actually Jeff was very positive, and then these two people that were pulled up, I think, under Jeff's organization, were also very positive because they are in charge of like this analytics development program, where they bring people in and give them experience with the project. Yeah, I think they need to go.
This or is sponsoring with a capstone?
I think they have sponsored the capsule already. I would much rather see them do this now. And I think we can make that happen. I think there were higher level people from other organizations who were like, do we really want to do the capstone project, or do we really want to do the competition? So,
We've gotten.
But you think now that Jack is back here and see it?
Yeah.
I think rather that you got a really deep connection with these two people last summer at a lower level in the organization. They have resources, and now they're tasked with running this little, it's not little, it's a development program where they want to find these students to come over there. So it's very.
Yeah.
Incredibly low cost.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to work on here, right? It's a game. Tom Price on it at Epic. That's it is. He's your new colleague over here. Did I hear your name? Big brother. Nice to meet you.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's challenging.
I'm a faculty member and a professor at my
Are you all second year students, first year?
Done? So we were
Oh, yeah.
You're all.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me take those. Is it 1 year?
Go out that side of the building.
Okay, yeah.
Walkway, into the construction. You're kind of trail along the edge of the construction zone and enter the basement of the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's benches and stuff, so you'll be kind of to the left of the construction. And it leads you right to the bottom of the library building. And you go in there and as soon as you can find stairs to go up to the building, big stairs to go up to be right.
I do understand.
Yeah. Some caffeinated people you can recognize.
Yes, right.
Oh, likewise.
Hey, were you a judge?
I was not a judge, but I.
Okay, great, great. Dr. Two.
Was this the first time you came over to RAP?
George, you still need me?
No, I have already because my undergraduate is in the
Yeah.
Okay. You sound solid, right?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Study, all right.
Okay.
I've done this tried many times. Trying out of the 2 years. Yeah, I think I see better sense.
Yeah. Great.
I think we need to recruit them to have PhD programs.
There you go. We're launching our PhD program in the fall,
I think
yeah.
there's still time to apply, right?
I know.
Maybe one day.
I think you have to be next. Doing interview. Yes, that says. I guess we're supposed to introduce members of the needs of the business. Like do dinner, my. Like I. To know what we're having to read. Maybe. They don't sound much.
How long is it? I will see that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. Are you gonna post on our page? Because they're sharing more things where you said. Yes. we did.
I've been here for 13 years.
I don't know, that's for the background. So you're in,
Oh. Same here. There's one other. Right, yeah. This is good.
We have questions.
I might have. I doubt you do.
Please had to introduce.
So I'm trying to.
Yes.
Yeah. His wife.
Gotta remember name.
Oh, well, the slides.
If the slide doesn't have it, or the laptop. Then I'll highlight it.
That was back in.
No one's gonna see this. This is just for you. He is
Well, it's not you're talking about like some now that it's complicated for them. It's you don't want
I like it. It's like a duet.
Interdisciplinary. Awards ceremony to try to see. He works in that. Invited his colleagues. Talks about. Which helps you do that. Yeah.
Or I'll say.
Yeah, that's why I wrote it. No, it's right there.
Oh, yeah, that's my remark.
I just wrote it in.
Well, yeah, I was doing some of the early work when they were just looking.
No, this morning,
And getting out.
this morning when I was doing like the first few
Avoid
slides.
being a multi-level. I got on.
Like,
Back to graduate school.
because like.
I was saying,
I was like.
and all the people that have written this company. And he came back to Ohio State with me and got a PhD. Exactly. We hope so anyway. Had a nice interaction. Looks like their program, that's development program or whatever.
It is. Steven Senate.
Yeah.
Now, I'll.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, guys, so this is a QR code for a feedback form. We'd love to hear your feedback on this competition. It'll help us improve, future competitions in the future, so we'd love it if you give us some feedback. As you know, what was it? User feedback is most important to the project. There it is.
So I have taught that class in class. So I started.
No, it's not. Sorry, I didn't think it was gonna be that loud.
Josh, so we all set up, so let's give him a few more minutes to finish up. Maybe snap 5 minutes.
Everyone online has done.
You bring it on slide. Professor Saunders, what they like.
They're now building these.
So he would be the host, building, flow, distribution, start. No, let's check. Participation.
So I was there.
Oh,
No.
and then when you the last slide is seems like there's another finalist. So when you finish, when we finish, now we can finish and then
There are 71 security volunteers. You have to make it. And they're on the whole, just so smart.
We got rid of the credit.
He's not.
Problem, need the stack overflow or about, like I said, actually just put in server. Great back and forth.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. You guys.
I did it for both ends, graduate class and undergraduate class. It is a place where they can use one another, they find a tutorial or a reference where they can question it, read, or something.
Brought it in.
In general,
Open house.
if they're needing it, they should give us a pass.
Okay, let me go watch this.
Yeah,
so
There's a comma between them.
Getting there.
Yeah.
I have my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually better because the presentation format. And this one's, better.
Yeah, no, it is, it's really connected.
And plus the food can be served here.
Exactly.
In the future, okay, you can stay.
Yeah.
Although,
Well, and once the construction is done, people will see it anyway.
I'm so excited. Next year we do it in the.
I'm so sorry.
Come on.
Oh, well, this is probably a great size.
Yes, it is. That's why you.
But this is all being redone, you know?
Yeah, I know that.
All right, we're both. All right, we're both.
All the classrooms.
The reason why I don't want to be.
When we first went. All right.
Overwhelming says we need more.
Yes, and well, I think Neo's
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
He's not, yeah, he's not there. We see what's going on in the chat. We can get to this. It has now filled up since we left. The simulation demo. Oh, those are pretty.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too.
Okay.
Yes. So just me and. So I've been email that and initiative. I have that.
Oh, so you're gonna stay.
Yeah, I've been asked another. Yeah, we waiting for the post.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need me to make a mark? I saw on the program, it's right on. You wouldn't make this. Not bad.
When.
I forgot to.
Professor. Yeah. I think before you guys let you go, yeah. That's what me and the professor come up to my site.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Oh, so then.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're ready to get started again, guys. So first, we wanted to thank the judges for being here today. You all have done a wonderful job, asked great questions. We also wanted to thank the crowd for participation and also the teams, of course. Next, we have Jacqueline Masrell, the Dean of Saunders, coming up to give a few remarks.
Right.
You want to change, right?
Next slide.
Yes.
All right.
One more.
Oh. I don't know, I like the other slide better.
Award ceremony, that was exciting. I mean, this is just me, but I also want to welcome everybody here. This is exciting to get to the finals of the competition. I certainly want to thank everyone, particularly the students, for engaging in this competition and doing so well. I'd like to thank our students for serving as MCs and also our faculty and staff. They put in a lot of effort to make this happen. So Sean and Neo and Manlu and Kais and Ali. Thank you so much for supporting this and Mohammed. And Vic.
And Jay Town.
And Jamie. Okay, so I mean, it's basically the entire MIS and marketing department. It takes a lot of effort from our faculty and staff that goes into this to plan such a wonderful experiential learning opportunity. So thanks to all of you. And I also want to thank our judges that are here with us from Butler Till and Delaware North. It's great to see industry and academia working together. And I think we get much better perspectives when we're looking at it from different angles. So thank you for being here. And with that, I think, who am I going to turn this over to? To Dr. Hanson.
Am I handing out the certificates or is Jackie handing out?
Jackie, so here, it's the order.
You can hand out the certificates, and I have some
This one is a.
comments for each of the teams. You guys are already the best of the best, right? To get through to the finals is a huge accomplishment, and it reflected in the challenge that you posed for us as judges, because we had a hard time drawing distinctions. You were all fantastic, so it was a very difficult choice. Nevertheless, we did make some selections. So in third place, we go third to first.
Yes.
In third place is team What is Salmon? If you come up, I'm going to offer you a couple thoughts. The judges were very impressed with in particular, the technical presentation. We, felt very confident that your technical analysis was strong. We appreciated the nuance that you offered with regard to the pros and cons of both the different modeling techniques, but also the possible remediation strategies. Sorry, that could be taken. And we were very impressed that you managed to do it all in just a two-person team. What is Salmon? Oh, you did names. Okay. I don't have everyone's names written down, so you'll have to stand for yourself. We were very impressed that you did it with just a two-person team. Really good work. Oh, yeah. No, so they're just two, so I assume everyone else is. Oh, yeah. Cool. Thank you. Oh, those are other members of the team?
Were these members of your team?
No.
No.
Okay, we
Okay.
talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent, thank you. In second place, oh, sorry, is Team Rich Girls. Come on up. Go ahead and talk as you guys come up. Okay, all right. We were again, the judges were very impressed overall. We thought your professionalism was just exquisite. I can stand on the other side of you. I'll stand over here. We thought your professionalism was just exquisite. We really thought you excelled in the storytelling. And as we noted in our discussions, it's so critical in business analytics, not just to understand the data, but to tell the story that emerges from the data. And we were very impressed with that. And we also thought the explanation, the way in which you outlined the comparison and the pros and cons of the Earth model and the logistic regression model was really strong. So great job.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Congratulations. Here, I'll stand on this side.
Yeah, squeeze together.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And then in first place, and again, all three teams were fantastic, but in first place is Simon Miracle. Again, the judges were super impressed with everything that you did, but in particular, we noted the responsiveness. You're very quick on your feet in terms of addressing the various questions that emerged. We thought the explanations of the different modeling techniques that you tried, the 3 different models, was really strong, really good. Even in layman's terms, explanation of the modeling techniques and the pros and cons of each. And we appreciated you laying the scenario out at the beginning, sort of establishing where the story was going to go. And it really helped us appreciate the full scope of everything that you did. So great job.
Great, congratulations. Great, congratulations. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. And then Neil or George, I will.
Yeah. MC, I can go ahead to the next.
Want to talk about who we are before we keep introducing people?
Yeah, sure. All right.
Okay.
So we kind of neglected to introduce ourselves. We're BTP, well, half of it. This is Christine. This is John. Christine is our vice president. John is our marketing manager. I'm George. I'm the president. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to our club here.
For those that don't know, BTP stands for Business and Technology Professionals. We're a student-run club that focuses on professional development and discussing the connections between the business and technology world. With that done, we are going to introduce our next speaker, Manlu Liu, to make an announcement or remark.
Yeah, so you want to go to the slide after you share the slide. Yeah.
Okay, so again, congratulations to all 3 teams. So this is some opportunity, future opportunity for you if you consider that. So there's an international conference opportunity. So the track I'm chairing is called Data Analytics for Business Challenge, which the theme align well with the business analytics competition here. So if you have interest, you can, work on the research paper and submit it to this track. And the international conference is held every year in July in a different places. This year, this conference is going to be held in Denmark in July. So this is some information for you. So if you have interest to submit the research paper in this domain, let me know. I can provide more details. Now, so you can also, think about what kind of thing you want to deliver, as long as it's aligned with the business analytics. That'll be good. Okay, great.
So we come to an end. That was an exciting event. Thank you so much for everyone for the participations. The students to put in the work. I know is hours and hours of hard working and discussions. So this is very well deserved, very well done. The students club who been with us throughout the process to plan and to be involved in the process. The judges who put aside the times to really devote their advices and mentorship throughout the process. The Dean Office to provide the resources is really a great experience, and I hope you truly enjoy and get something out of it. Okay. By the way of introductions, my name is Professor Bui and this is Professor Perotis. We are the mastermind behind this competition. And we really excited for the competitions to grow. This is the 3rd year we are doing this, and we are very excited for new changes in the future for the next coming competitions. Quick note is you guys are not barred from participate again, so very welcome to come back Except I think the first team, the first winner, bar from re-enter the competition.
Take a year off.
Yeah, so take a year off. But everyone else are welcome to come back and grow and come back and compete against for the next year competitions. Okay. Vic, anything to add?
Just a few words. I think something very special happened here today. Maybe you would agree. We had people from industry, we had remarkably talented students, faculty, and many others who came together and had really important dialogue at a space where rapidly changing technology is impacting business practice. And I think there's almost nothing more valuable than that we could have today as we academics, we industry professionals reckon with the incredible advancing pace of technology. Really healthy discussion, really informative discussion. I think we're all to the better, and it's just fun. It's fun to have a competition and come together and judge, and I enjoyed it a lot. My closing remark is going to be to say the driver of this competition, as you know, the one who has done most of the work is Professor Neil Bowie. Let's finish with a hand for him. Thank you all very much.
All right. There's plenty of pizza left.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Betsy.
Nice to meet you. So I do have.
Very nice meeting
You combine to
Already done with the class. Next month is like, we're literally covering like history of like.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for
Next step forward, mentorship, connection, you know. I know I had that with, I took the class with.
It's the one.
I love where your mind went though, because my idea was big.
Yeah, I knew it. I love doing it.
I'm gonna do what I want, so.
However, it's we absolutely so that want to take away.
So I think there is a fire to it, because they heard you talking about it yesterday. So I think fire tonight. I do not know yet.
Next year, I think.
Reno wants to. I brought it up.
What I'll do is. That's the next one. Once they're.
My roommates.
I'll make sure.
It was like they seem all
that's
together.
on their radar.
Grab for sure.
I'll be
On a beach.
Although I've never had those little,
Yeah.
it's like a movie.
Yeah, literally. So, I'll let you know.
Because you separate.
Oh, yeah, true. I mean, just out of curiosity. Let me see how much.
I would like be the drive all of us in her car.
Also.
If you jumpstart it, I think. Maybe professor, I don't know what professors would have like.
Just out of curiosity. It's like 30.
It's gonna be.
Split that working with.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, it's a worse company.
Yeah, they're like restructuring their, like their. And there's like different parts of each class is tackling a different part of that project.
Who's the? Who's the?
Brian Ryan.
Oh, yeah, so it's a.
Yeah, it's really good. It really gives like, it really gives people a good perspective of what like practical cross.
Thanks guys for serving as MCs. I was just talking with George about different ways to integrate to make sure that we have at least one entrant from RIT. You know, whether we make it like a final project of a business intelligence course or course.
Because I feel like this does have a lot of aspects of what you want in business intelligence and yeah.
Or the other thing I was saying, you know, what if your club sponsored like a weekend hackathon and we bring in pizza and food and say, listen, everybody come for the whole day and basically work on phase one
Right.
of the project and do it in the fall. So that way you'll get some, you know, just come for one Saturday and like bang it out.
Yeah.
You know?
I also like the idea of having just not forcing, but having it as one of the final projects for a course. I think that could work really well.
I mean, we can do both, right?
Yeah,
We can do both. You can make it as the final project for a course, but you could also do sponsor a hackathon,
Yeah.
get interest if they're not in the class that fits,
Right.
you know?
That would be great for.
I absolutely think of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll pay for the food.
Amazing.
Even better. Yeah, so we can definitely keep that like top of mind for next semester.
Good. Well, have a good weekend. Enjoy the weather.
You too.
Yeah,
It's like it's supposed to be nice, you know, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
So,
All right, see ya.
see ya.
Lots of extra pizza.
You can. For BTP.
Oh, for BTP.
Because we switched mid-year.
Oh, for BTP, probably.
Oh, you are?
Probably not. Only because I feel like, well, one, like, you can switch mid-year, but like, I feel like it's better to keep it.
Vice president's mid-year line.
We'll see.
Because Michelle's left and tasted it.
I'll do it if I really got it. But I would like someone else to also have, you know, like.
Are you running to president DSP?